Since the beginning of time, humans have relied on paranormal phenomena to explain the inexplicable. An object moving on its own, strange lights in the sky, a shadowy figure in the corner of the room. While these instances may have perfectly logical explanations, oftentimes the theories behind these encounters spawn urban legends that last generations. One such urban legend describes sightings of strange humanoid cryptids living out in the darkness. Today on Scream to Screen, we uncover the history of the shadow people, where they came from, what they want, and if there's any weight behind the notion that spirits are trying to contact us from the other side. But first, subscribe to Graveyard Shift for more horror content than you know what to deal with, and drop a comment to let us know what you want to find out more about next. A shadow person is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living, humanoid figure and interpreted as the presence of a spirit or other entity. Sightings of these creatures have been reported worldwide since the beginning of recorded history and still occur today. Shadow people are usually seen from the corner of someone's eye, but vanish as soon as the person realizes what they saw. Some people have reported becoming overwhelmed with a sense of despair and fear when sighting a shadow person, and others have even claimed to be attacked or chased by these shadow people. The shadows are generally larger than normal and are often described as carrying themselves with quick, jerky movements and quickly disintegrate into walls or mirrors. They range from being mist-like to completely solid like living, breathing, tangible humans. Though this is not to all shadow figures, some may possess eyes that vary in color and are classified as having certain traits of behavior based on those colors. A shadow person's behavior varies, suggesting that they may have mood swings and act as regular people. Although many believers in the paranormal describe shadow people as menacing and aggressive in nature. Others consider them a form of guardian angel. Most argue that they are neither evil nor helpful, and even speculate that these creatures may be the extra-dimensional inhabitants of another universe. They often cause their victims to feel unable to move and sometimes sit on their chests, suggesting a connection between shadow people and sleep paralysis. Several religions, legends, and belief systems describe shadowy spiritual beings or supernatural entities as shades of the underworld. And these creatures have solidified themselves in various folklores under different names, such as the Islamic jinn and the Nalusa Cheeto of Choctaw mythology. One commonly seen shadow person who has been documented countless times around the world with few variations in overall appearance and behavior is known as the Hatman. The Hatman is a solid black figure with a wide-brimmed hat and trench coat, and sometimes has red or black eyes, suggesting a resemblance to the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Unlike other shadow people, the Hatman is generally seen as much more physically solid. Those who have seen this specific species of shadow cryptid have noted feeling a malevolent energy coming from him, along with a sense of curiosity towards his witnesses. He appears to take great pleasure from the fear of those who spot him, causing some witnesses to claim him to be the devil. Another popular faction of shadow people exists on the west coast of California, about halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. The Dark Watchers are a group of mysterious dark human-like cryptids who stand on the hills, ridges, and peaks of the Santa Lucia Mountains in California. They supposedly watch those who wander into the mountains and are not known to be aggressive. They are often spotted around twilight and are usually seen staring upwards toward the sky while standing atop the mountains. They seem to be some sort of spirits, but their origins are currently unknown. Dark Watchers have been spotted many times over the years. There's stories about them dating back to the Chumash tribe of Native American culture, who historically inhabited the central and southern coastal regions of California. When Spanish settlers first arrived in the area, they were said to have witnessed these creatures gazing upon them and appropriately dubbed them Los Vigilantes Oscuros, or the Dark Watchers. According to the newspaper archives in the mid-1960s, a Monterey Peninsula local and former high school principal went on a hiking trip in the Santa Lucias when he saw a dark figure wearing a hat and cape, standing on a rock and surveying the area. When the principal called out to his fellow hikers, the creature vanished. The Dark Watchers are most famously given a brief mention in author John Steinbeck's story, Flight. included in the 1938 collection of his short stories, The Long Valley. Steinbeck's son, Thomas Steinbeck, gave an account of having witnessed Dark Watchers during his childhood and later collaborated on a book titled In Search of the Dark Watchers, where he dives into his story of the legend and interviews locals who claim to also have seen them. In Scottish folklore, Am Fear Leith Mor, or more commonly known as the Grey Man of Ben Macdhu, is the name given to the presence of creature which is said to haunt the summit and passes of Ben Macdhu, the highest peak of Cairngorms and the second highest peak in Scotland. Although there have been many purported encounters with the Grey Man, few eyewitnesses have actually seen the creature. It is detailed as being very thin and over 10 feet tall, with dark skin and elongated limbs. Most often, the Grey Man remains unseen in the fog of the mountain, with encounters limited to the sound of crunching gravel as it walks behind the climbers and a general feeling of unease around the mountain. The first recorded account of the Grey Man came from a noted hiker, professor, and member of the Royal Geographical Society, J. Norman Colley, in 1925, and dates all the way back to 1891. According to Colley, he was on a solo hike in 1891 when he began hearing crunching sounds coming from behind him every few steps, as if someone was walking around him but only took one stride for his 3 or 4. Although he could never locate the sound in the mist, the crunching never stopped following him until he was seized with terror and escaped in the Rothy-Murchis forest about 5 miles later. Wherever the sound came from, it was enough to cause Colley to never return to the top of Ben Macdhu again. Black stickmen are a relatively recent phenomenon, although they have been linked to ancient beings depicted in some cave drawings, causing several groups to believe they are signs of ancient aliens or extra-dimensional travelers. They are humanoid cryptids that resemble stick-drawing figures. Black stickmen are said to vary in height, and despite their name, are speculated to be entirely genderless. What makes these creatures especially peculiar is their two-dimensional appearance, making them look the same no matter what angle they're viewed at. They allegedly possess no shadow or lack facial features as well, appearing faceless. Witnesses claim that these figures are often charged with some sort of static electricity and exert some form of negative energy, filling someone who spots them with a strange urge of aggression or agitation. Many have theorized the origin of black stickmen comes from interdimensional travelers to figments of a person's imagination. But the most popular theory suggests that they are demonic entities and related to shadow people. Despite these theories, not much is known about this particular race of cryptids, outside of some ancient cave drawings and a few recently grainy photos. During an expedition, cryptozoologist Mark Wolfgang Miller came within 6 feet of a black stickman when he was searching for one near the small town of Beaufort, Wyoming. He didn't know what he was looking at until the creature, spanning at least 12 feet tall, moved in a non-tree-like manner. Miller attempted to snap a picture for evidence, but couldn't get a clear shot due to the resembling trees in the background. Shadow people are one of the earliest sighted creatures by mankind, making them one of the oldest cryptids worldwide. So it's no surprise that they've been used as inspiration countless times throughout horror pop culture, including in the 2015 documentary, The Nightmare, and the online video game, Deep Sleep, both of which link the existence of shadow people to sleep paralysis. Shadow people, described as shadow men, are featured prominently in the 2007 novel and subsequent feature film, John Dies at the End. When one of these creatures kills a person, the victim is retroactively erased from existence and history is rewritten as though they were never born. The 2014 film The Babadook also depicts a dark shadowy figure that taunts a young boy and his single mother. Writer-director Jennifer Kent has stated that her directorial debut is based on true events that a close friend of hers experienced. Additionally, many people who claim to be haunted by these shadow beings refused to watch the film when it first came out due to the likeness of the Babadook to their own personal experiences. Possibly the most well-known interpretation of shadow people is the Slender Man. Creator Eric Knudsen, aka Victor Surge, publicly credited reports of shadow people to be one of the main sources of inspiration behind his infamous creepypasta character. Most recently, shadow people inspired the 2019 documentary-style horror film Real Cases of Shadow People, the Sarah McCormick story. which featured 3 college students who go missing under mysterious circumstances while investigating and attempting to capture video evidence of shadow creatures in the area. Several psychological and physiological conditions can account for reported experience of shadowy shapes seemingly alive, and many theorists have tried to explain away these encounters using science. Illusions, hallucinations, and misinterpretation of natural stimulus brought on by exhaustion or isolation have been proposed by psychologists. Generated by wind, infrasound is known to cause feelings of uneasiness and anxiety that can be misinterpreted as paranormal sightings. An optical illusion known as the Brocken specter is a plausible explanation for the legend of shadow people and can occur in certain atmospheric conditions when the sun is at a particular angle. The subject's shadow can be cast onto a cloud bank around them, creating the illusion of a large shadowy humanoid figure. A sleep paralysis sufferer may perceive a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them as they lie awake, paralyzed and becoming increasingly alarmed. A person experiencing heightened emotion, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadow as a would-be attacker. Many methamphetamine addicts report the appearance of shadow people after prolonged periods of sleep deprivation. Finally, visual hallucinations, such as those caused by schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, may appear to be shadowy figures at the edge of peripheral vision. These hallucinations have been directly compared to the paranormal entities described in folklore. So, what do you think? Are shadow people a figment of our imagination triggered by sleep-deprived visual hallucinations? Or is there some plausibility to the urban legend? Let us know what you think in the comments and tell us about your personal story of a shadow person encounter. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to Graveyard Shift for all your horror needs, and let us know what true life stories you want to learn more about next time on Scream to Scream.